I'm always trying to find new ways to incorporate more seafood into my carnivore diet. So in today's video, I'm going to share with you 4 brand new canned fish recipes. We're going to be cooking with canned sardines, salmon, and smoked oysters. Just 1 or 2 servings per week of seafood is enough to raise your omega-3s substantially. And these recipes are super tasty and easy to prepare. I found all of the canned fish for today's recipes on thrivemarket.com, and I'd like to thank them for sponsoring today's video. Thrive Market has some excellent deals on canned fish and thousands of other products. Their catalog is 100% non-GMO, and they have the highest quality standards in the industry. When I'm cooking with canned fish, I want to make sure that what I'm using is not adulterated with anything and that I'm getting the highest quality product I can find. Let me show you what we're going to be cooking with today out of my latest Thrive Market box. I also just want to say, I'm really happy that Thrive Market uses completely recyclable packaging. That's awesome. So we've got these smoked oysters here along with some Fishwife sardines. Now, these sardines are typically like $9 a can over at my local World Market, and I was able to get them for $5 a can on Thrive Market. We're not going to be cooking with the Fishwife sardines today, but I saw this deal and I was like, oh my God, I need to pick these up. We've got some safe catch salmon along with some sardines in olive oil, and I can rest easy knowing that this is 100% olive oil because of Thrive Market's high quality standards. With Thrive Market, you can get your shopping done from the comfort of your own home, plus save time with groceries delivered straight to your front door. Orders over $49 ship for free, and they have this amazing app that's really simple to use. Also, within the app, you can curate your shopping experience with just a few clicks based on your dietary needs and preferences. So when I was searching for canned fish, I just typed that into the search bar in their app, and it pulled up all of the canned fish options available at thrivemarket.com. And every single canned fish option that I got in this Thrive Market box was significantly less expensive than what I can get the same product for at my local grocery store. You can join Thrive Market today by heading to thrivemarket.com/Jenny Mitich to get 30% off your first order, plus a free gift worth up to $60. Link is in the description. Let's start with our first canned fish recipe, which is the viral TikTok sensation, Poor Man's Oysters Rockefeller. We're going to use 2 cans of the smoked oysters, and we're going to drain them first. And then we're going to season each can with some Cajun spice and 2 pats of butter. This is about a tablespoon of butter. Now we're going to add some garlic, either fresh minced garlic or just garlic out of this tube that I'm using here. And I'm going to kind of spread this around a little bit. Then I'm going to add some hot sauce. You can use whatever hot sauce brand you like, along with some green onions and a squirt of fresh lemon juice. And then I'm going to top this with some freshly grated Parmesan cheese. I'm going to be cooking these in my tasty air fryer, so I'm going to add these to the basket, and then I'm going to set the air fryer to 400 degrees Fahrenheit for 10 minutes, and then I'm just going to keep an eye on it. After about 2 minutes, I added a little bit more Parmesan cheese to the top of each can, and then I let it cook a little bit more. And around the 7-minute mark, they looked like they were ready to go. So I pulled them from the air fryer using my tongs and let them cool just a little bit. Then I squeezed a little bit more lemon juice, added a little bit more green onion and Cajun spice, and then just a few more drops of hot sauce to each of these. And holy smokes, this Poor Man's Oysters Rockefeller was phenomenal. I'm definitely going to be adding this recipe to my carnivore repertoire. For our next recipe, we're going to be making some sardine deviled eggs using the Thrive Market sardines in extra virgin olive oil. I've hard-boiled half a dozen eggs, and then I cut them in half lengthwise, and I scooped the yolks into a bowl. I've drained 1 can of sardines, and I'm going to add 1 sardine, just 1 to start, to see what we're working with. Then I'm going to add 3 to 4 tablespoons of avocado mayonnaise, and then I'm going to mash all of this together to see what we end up with. It's looking pretty good. I'm going to add a little bit more mayonnaise and some Dijon mustard, and then I am going to add 1 more sardine. Now, if I was preparing a dozen hard-boiled eggs, I would add the entire can of sardines. Now it's time to spice it up a little bit. We're going to add some salt, black pepper, and some smoked paprika, and this is tasting pretty good. I am going to add a little bit more salt. All right, now we're good to go. So I'm going to salt the egg whites, and then using a spoon, I'm just gonna fill each of these egg whites. Now, you could also use a piping bag or a gallon-sized plastic bag with the corner cut off if you wanna make this look a little bit more fancy, but I'm just making these for myself, so I don't really need to worry about that too much. So now I'm going to top each of these eggs with some smoked paprika and a tiny bit of green onion we had left over from the oysters. And these are looking fantastic. And honestly, I couldn't really taste the sardines very much. My husband would tell you different, but I thought they tasted delicious. Next up, we're going to be making a breakfast with some sardine egg bites. I'm going to crack 8 eggs into a measuring cup. I'm going to whisk these up with a fork and then add a little bit of salt and some garlic powder. Now I'm going to lay out my silicone molds. These are just, silicone muffin molds. I'll put a link to some in the description. I'm going to use a silicone brush and brush the inside of each of these with some butter to make sure that the egg bites won't stick. I've got this half can of sardines left over from the deviled eggs, so we're going to use these up first. And then I've got another whole can that I'm going to use as well. So I'm just going to drain those and then kind of flake them up with a fork a little bit. And then I'm going to put some into the bottom of each silicone mold. Now I've got some cut up sausage and bacon from breakfasts over the past few days that I had left over. And I'm going to add those to each mold now. And then it's time to add the egg. And I definitely messed up the first couple of times. I added way too much egg. You're going to want to make sure you're only filling these molds 2/3 of the way full with egg because these will expand when you're cooking them. And since I had some egg and sausage left over, I decided to add the final 2 silicone molds and just do sausage in them for my husband since he's not a big fan of sardines. Then I just distributed the rest of the egg between all the cups and stirred them up a little bit and then added a little bit more salt on all of them. And then I topped some of them with green onion and the remaining Parmesan left over from the Oysters Rockefeller. I'm going to be using my tasty air fryer again, so I'm going to put 6 in at a time so that they have room to expand. And I'm setting this to 380 degrees Fahrenheit for 10 minutes. Now around the 3-minute mark, I'm going in and I'm stirring these egg bites up a little bit because the top tends to cook faster. And if you want to make sure that the entire inside cooks as well, you need to stir them up a little bit. These are looking really good at the 10-minute mark, so I'm going to pull them out and place the remaining 6 inside of the Tasty. And these are the ones that have the cheese and the green onion on top. So we're gonna repeat this process, 380 degrees Fahrenheit for 10 minutes, stirring them, a few minutes in, just to make sure they cook all the way through. And these are looking perfect. So let's cut one of these bad boys open. This is looking really good. These would go great with some sour cream or some hot sauce or just plain as I ate them here with a side of bacon. And I've used my Tasty air fryer a few times in this video. If you'd like to save a bit of money on a Tasty air fryer for yourself, you can head to the link in the description and save $30. And they just released their brand new ceramic model. It's a total game changer. Our final canned fish recipe is a salmon fish cake. We got the Safe Catch salmon from Thrive Market, so I'm gonna drain each of these cans. We're using a total of 11 ounces of canned salmon, so 2 cans, and 1 whole egg along with a 1/4 cup of ground up pork rinds and about 4 tablespoons of avocado mayonnaise, along with a nice squirt of minced garlic. That's probably about a teaspoon. Now I'm gonna mix all of this together just to see how wet it is. It's looking pretty good. Now I'm going to add some Italian herbs. This is herbs de Provence, but you can just use regular like Italian seasoning or something like that. I'm also adding smoked paprika, black pepper, and some salt. Then I'm going to add some Dijon mustard to taste. It was probably about 2 teaspoons. Stir that up. And now this is looking really good. I think I'm gonna add a little bit more salt though. Now I'm going to form these into little patties. You can make them whatever size you want, but with this amount, I was able to make 5 3-inch diameter patties. I'm gonna fry these up in about 2 tablespoons of butter. So I'm just gonna let that butter melt in the pan over medium heat, let it get nice and bubbly and hot. Then I'm going to place the salmon patties into the pan. Once they've cooked for a few minutes, I'm going to flip them over and you can see they are nice and brown on one side. I'll cook them for 3 to 4 minutes on the other side and then they are ready to eat. Salmon cakes are super easy to prepare and that's one of the reasons I really like them. Plus, they're really fatty fish and have excellent levels of omega-3s. I'm going to top the finished product with a little bit of lemon and a little bit more of this Italian seasoning mix, and then these are ready to go. If you'd like the full recipe PDFs for all 4 of these canned fish recipes, you can head over to my Patreon and download a copy there. Patreon members get free access to all of my recipe PDFs from my recipe videos here on YouTube. Plus, they get to see a bunch of behind-the-scenes photos and content. There is a link to my Patreon in the description below. I hope you enjoyed this fresh set of canned fish recipes. Be sure to head over to thrivemarket.com/Jenny Mitich to join today. 30% off your first order plus a free gift worth up to $60. You really can't beat it. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comment section below. And if you've made it to this point in the video, be sure to let me know in the comments which of these 4 recipes you're going to try first. And with that, I'll see you in the next video.